Good afternoon, YouTube. This is Michael Bell with Torrent Performance, and we have winter coming up, and I want to talk a little bit about gas and why you need to stabilize your fuel before winter, or if you're going into short-term storage before winter, and go into a little bit on what gas does when it starts to break down. So we got some examples over here on this table, and we're going to get into it. Yeah. Okay, and what we have here is a demonstration of old gas and new gas. As you can see on the left jar here, this jar here is about a year old gas. It was really hard for me to find this. I had to go to a buddy's house that had an old gas can, that he had gas, and I said, well, do you have any old gas? He said, yeah. And I looked at it, I said, well, I need this gas, I wouldn't recommend using this. And he looked at it, he said, holy shit, look how yellow that is, looks like piss. I said, that gas is no good. And here on the right, this is an example of good gas. And what I did on the left jar is, what I wanted to show was the gas. This is the gas, and over time, most gas has about 10% ethanol added. And what happens is the ethanol in your gas tank, if it is not stabilized, over a period, it can go as bad as quick as 2 to 3 months, is the ethanol will actually start coming out of the gas. And if there's moisture in your gas tank, it will start accumulating water. See the difference here between underneath a mason of these two liquids here, where basically you have gas on top, and essentially there's a little layer of ethanol, and then it'll draw the moisture, and the bottom of that is water. And when that happens, excuse me, the water in your in the gas will actually start rusting the gas tank, and most engines pull the gas from the bottom of the tank, and immediately that water and that ethanol that's separated will go right into the engine, and immediately you'll start having problems. And this gas is essentially starting to break down. It does take a while to do that, but this is the difference here between old gas and new gas. And the new gas, like I said, it varies upon a lot of things before it starts going bad, such as climate and how the other companies produce the gas. But you can clearly see where everything is starting to separate here. This gas is no good. Basically, once the gas starts deteriorating, you start having big issues with it. And yeah, bad gas, don't use it. Okay, so there you go. Showed you a little example of year-old gas and new gas. And as an Amsoil dealer, I can't really recommend other products than what Amsoil uses for stabilizing fuel. The main thing really is the ethanol in the fuel. The gas companies have went to a 10% blend with their fuel, I believe for tax purposes. I don't really know of a big benefit to putting ethanol in the fuel besides making it a bio blend. And by a lot of fuel companies going to a 10% bio blend, they actually get tax incentive write-offs from the states. And actually, Illinois, I'm located here in Illinois, and they actually just did away with that tax because the taxpayers were basically giving tax breaks to these large gas companies to put the ethanol in the fuel. And a lot of people don't realize that ethanol is usually made by corn. And when they started doing that, it did raise the price of corn. They use corn for feed for the cattle and for consumables, if you like Doritos. And it basically did raise the price of corn, and which could be a good thing for the farmers and whatnot. But it creates competition with the farmers, and then the farmers have to sell the corn, you know, at a cheaper rate almost, but they're going to sell more corn to the gas companies to provide the ethanol for the fuel. Now, for small ATVs, four-wheelers, dirt bikes, snowmobiles, lawnmowers and whatnot, Amsoil does offer this product called Quick Shot. And what Quick Shot does is this will clean your carburetor and fuel injection system, but you can also use it for short-term storage. I run it in my bike about every 2 or 3 months. It's fuel injected. I really don't have any fuel injection problems. However, I'm on the safe side, and I do stock this, so I just throw it in. The other product that Amsoil has for stabilizing fuel is these larger bottles of stabilizer. Now these things, this is good for 12 months, where this is more of short-term storage. I believe it's 6 months storage and you're good on the Quick Shot. On these, it'll treat up to 40 gallons, which is super popular with people with boats. I do know when you're riding the boat, some marinas have ethanol fuel that you can buy and non-ethanol fuel. And a lot of people think, oh, if I don't get the ethanol, I don't need to treat the fuel. Well, you still need to treat the fuel because the fuel still breaks down. It just doesn't have the ethanol in it to draw the water into it. Gas really is only good for a couple months. After a couple months, it starts separating, it's blended, and the ethanol separates, and then you've seen when you get moisture in your tank, in the examples that I showed, you will pull water. And when you pull water with vehicles in storage, they could sit, muscle cars are big, boats. And once you start pulling water down the gas tank, guess what? You've got water in the gas tank, and if you do not take care of it, it will rust. And when it rusts, you're gonna have to pull the tank, figure out if you need to have the tank sealed and sprayed and clean, or spend the money and stabilize the fuel and don't go through that whole hassle. A lot of people do not know how to pull gas tanks. Yeah, so fuel stabilizer, highly recommended for winter, doesn't cost that much money. With this product here, the stabilizer, you go 12 months, you go short-term storage on your bike or smaller engines and whatnot, with this product, Quick Shot. And I have to get going, a busy day. I've changed my schedule around all week. I do have a full-time job. But don't forget, if you want to support me in this channel, you can go to the description below. And thanks for watching. I'm out. Now get this table out of the way. God.